Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Endless Celts Cooldown. And yes, another play on words like the double pivot. Our post-match reaction show to Hibs v Celtic at Easter Road. Gavin, I'll come to yourself first, buddy. How are you feeling?
Mate, we are dicing with death. Look, people can say that the points are the main thing that we get from tonight, and yes, we've got the 3 points. Like, my heart is up and down. It was a roller coaster of a night, an absolute roller coaster. But we need to start putting in performances to show that we're champions. I know that cliche, the mark of champions, is to get a result whenever you're not playing like you deserve the victory. But how many times are we going to do that? Hibs, if Hibs walked away with 3 points tonight, then you couldn't have blamed them. You could easily have said they deserved it. It was a tough night. We knew it was going to be tough, but there were so many flaws in the game, so many players not putting in proper performances. Like, I know that I might get criticism tonight and saying, "Oh, my glass is not half full," but no, my glass is not half full. If we continue to play like this, we're not going to continue to get 3 points every game. We have not turned a corner yet. This is the business end of the season. We need to pull up our socks. This is not good enough. We got lucky. We got massively lucky. This is not good enough. And we need to take a good look at ourselves. How many lessons do we need? We came inches away from throwing away the title tonight. Inches. It's not good enough, man.
Gavin, you've been holding it in. You're ready. You're pent up, and I absolutely love the enthusiasm. And Jed Thomas Burns comes in, absolutely delighted with the win, but the performance. Are you much of the same?
Yeah, and just echo what Gavin was saying there. I was actually, for 15 minutes in the second half there, I was watching it with my daughter. I was speechless. I couldn't even shout. I was absolutely speechless. Some guys were in camouflage tonight because they were fucking hiding. Absolute joke. So they were. And look, at the end of the day, it's 3 points, but very, very worrying. Very worrying.
Yeah, there was some signs, which we'll come on to, Gavin. And first of all, obviously, it's our first post-match reaction show and under the Cooldown banner. And look, we'll start with the lineup. I like your enthusiasm and the way you spoke there, Gavin. We'll get into the rest of the details shortly. But, I mean, some noticeable absentees. Kyogo dropped out, Palma dropped out, and Narowski, which I thought was quite harsh on him. Abada dropped out. Abada, to be fair, probably his name will pop up towards the end of the podcast. I'm sure about that. But the lineup itself, I mean, we were all talking in the podcast group chat about who could come in, different formations. I think we're all pretty nailed on that Ida might start in some shape or form, which he did. Kyogo obviously dropped out. That was a big call from Rodgers. I thought the other one was Kuhn that came in. And I thought, for me, Nicholas Kuhn didn't do well at all. It was obviously his first full game for ourselves. And I think the physicality really caught him by surprise. But in regards to yourself, mate, what was your overall thoughts on that lineup and the shape of the team at the beginning of the match?
One of the biggest surprises was that Bernabei started. Look, despite the fact that it was a chaotic game, a basketball game at times, I don't think Bernabei disgraced himself. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say he had a good game, but he never did a clanger. He never lost as a game today. He wasn't a potential scapegoat tonight. That was a big surprise. Obviously, surprised that Rocky got dropped. Felt it was a wee bit harsh. However, are we blaming Rocky for the goal that he conceded against Majowski? He got isolated on his own. He tried to show him one way. Majowski was cuter. He bent it around him. Does Narowski deserve to get dropped for that? Well, in Brendan Rodgers' eyes, perhaps he does. Scales is obviously your dependable man. Welsh comes in for Narowski. I like Welsh's aggression. I don't think he's ever shat the bed for us. But that was it. And Maida, I was happy Maida came in. I've been really, really critical of Palma. Despite a good start in his Celtic career. Maida came in, and immediately I loved the fact that his pace, it puts the fullback on the back foot. It makes him, as I said, change his posture. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going. Palmer, you know exactly, you've got him in your pocket. As long as you don't get fooled by his kind of trickery. But Maeda is get the pace to kill you, and that makes the fullback think a different game plan. Kuhn, yeah, he's our star attraction of the January transfer window. Again, he got a kind of fluky goal at the weekends, but Kuhn, that was not his night tonight. Let's not write off Kuhn far too early. That is premature to write off Kuhn tonight. But Kuhn was up against a very, very difficult fullback. That guy, what was his name?
Lewis Miller.
I wrote it down. But
is it not Lewis Miller?
No, the opposite was Obita.
Obita, yeah.
Obita. That guy was a physical defender and he was fast as fuck. Kuhn, he was up against it tonight. Difficult night for him. That's my thoughts on the changes for tonight. By the way, Kyogo, very, very harsh dropping Kyogo, but put it this way, Ida scored 2 penalties on his second game for Celtic. Kyogo does not take penalties. So that says something. That's a kind of a thing for Ida. The fact that he's got confidence to take penalties, he scored 2 tonight. Kyogo would probably not have bailed us out tonight in that situation. So fair play to Ida.
Yeah, Ida actually showed balls as like nerves of steel. Yeah, to hit them penalties. But before we come on to that, obviously the first goal, and see the stream I was watching on actually cut out. I didn't see the penalty kick at half time. I was raging about that. But the Alistair Johnson injury, looked a bad one. I think it was their centre back that got on loan from Sunderland, clattered into him right the side of the temple. He got took off on a stretcher, and apparently he was getting sacked out of hospital. And I think we all echo here, Jed, that I hope he recovers soon. And he'll be a big miss for us if he's out for some period of time.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, give the ref credit, he spotted it, because I never, but look, it's a foul outside the box, it's a foul in the box, it's a penalty. And let's just hope he is back sooner rather than later. But also as well, Stephen, let's look at what positives can we take from tonight. Now, I've been very critical of this guy, and I thought Welsh had not a bad game. But sorry, I mean, did he give the free kick away for their goal because I was in the kitchen and I went back through it? Yeah. So well, I know it was after I thought the commentator said that and gave it away. But then in Kuhn's defence, I felt he wasn't really getting the ball to him. They were going down the other wing. They were using Maeda a lot more. But he did look a fish out of water. It was just a confidence thing. But by the way, Bhoys is still for the 2 penalties because the way we've been going, we've been poor, and I thought the 2 penalties are absolutely fantastic. Unlucky, we had a couple of chances as well in the game. You know, the one off at the crossbar was offside, and then the one he should have scored, and then it came out. Kyogo had the chance as well, but there were too many players well under par, and including our captain. In fact, including Matt O'Reilly as well. That's the last 2 games I thought Matt O'Reilly's been poor. I just hope it's just a wee blip from him. But we move on to Sunday, and that ain't going to be an easy game.
Nope.
Or Saturday, whenever it is, I can't remember if it's Saturday or Sunday. Especially them winning tonight as well. But look, just totally relieved. My daughter was slagging me at the full time whistle, saying that you're ready to tell me, shut it, you want to get on the podcast. I was raging, absolutely raging. But we're here, we've got to front it up. And I never seen the game last night as well, but people are saying they weren't great shakes last night. I don't know. But we cannot continue to play like that. Yes, we take the 3 points, and let's hope. I think somebody put up earlier, you put up a comment, is this going to be a Ross County moment? Let's hope it is.
Yeah, go ahead, Gavin.
Stephen, I know that there's a lot of things to get through, but can I throw a question at you? Jed brought it up there, talking about Matt O'Reilly's performances of late. Do you think, I know it's an easy question to ask, but we need to ask it, do you think the speculation about Atletico Madrid And the fact that he knows that in the summer he's got a big move, do you think that he's a young player? It's understandable. Do you think that has affected his performances?
I think it's very easy to say that. Look, at the end of the day, I think Matt O'Reilly seems very level-headed, and I don't think he would let it creep into his head that much where to affect the performance. I think this is it's a team issue. It's like you come on to the start of the podcast, Gavin, and you couldn't wait to get that out. It's what the team are showing us on the pitch. It affects everybody individually and as a collective as well. And I think Matt O'Reilly's just suffering from that. I looked at the possession of some of our play today. Like, for example, we had loads of possession in the first half, Gavin, but we were passing it around side to side. There was no penetration with the passes, and Matt O'Reilly was dropping deep, and he was trying to link up with Bernardo, and it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't being effective. Individual for Matt O'Reilly, look, the Atletico Madrid thing's a massive thing. I'm sure he's only human to think about the lights and all that, the Liga or the Premier League, wherever he's going to be further down in his career. But I don't think he will let that affect his football at this moment in time.
Can I just say, in like a total opposite statement there, in his defence, because the best thing is to be balanced. He has carried us for the majority of this season, and it's unfortunate that whenever the team start playing poorly, that his form kind of coincides with that poor dip as well. So let's kind of give a balanced point of view. Matt O'Reilly's carried us throughout the season. He's been our best performer, but now his performances, it kind of comes to light only because we're doing badly. So that's just kind of me weighing up the scales there. So I
get that. Go ahead.
To build it up, because I looked at that half time. We had 64% possession. We had 2 shots, 1 on target.
Yep.
Nibs had 1 shot, not because the first shot on target was a goal, the same as Aberdeen at the weekend. We are just, and then when a team scores against us, we're so wobbly afterwards for the next 10 minutes. We're all over the place. And what's Brendan Rodgers doing? What are they doing in training? Why are they not keeping the shape? We're just.
I think as well, like we've won the game tonight, which is obviously a positive, but still you can see the questions. And Gavin, you come on at the start. I think Jed makes a good point. We had a lot of comfortable possession in the first half, and really unchallenged. Hibs were sitting off us, and they were trying to hit us on the counter. Which, look, they've got players like Ali Yuhan, Martin Boyle, Fente up front with speed and stuff, but obviously didn't work out for them. What I noticed as well was when we were getting to the final third, there was just there was nothing sticking. It was just bouncing off their defenders, come back up the pitch, and you're starting again. And you hear that phrase, the was a horseshoe or something like that, the side to side passing, not going anywhere. And it looks great, the stats saying 61% of possession and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's wasted football. It's like it's not penetrating. It's not getting into the final third. I mean, Liam Scales and Welsh were taking 3 to 4 touches at one point on the ball just to find a pass. It's far too slow, far too lethargic. And again, I want to reiterate, we won the game. But at the end of the day, and I do agree with you, Gavin, and you can go back in on it as well here, you said we cannot keep limping, basically paraphrasing you, limping towards the end of the season with performances like that. And look, whether we like it or not, we have to accept now as Celtic fans, we're in a bona fide title race that's going to go to the wire, and we need to show mettle. And you could say tonight we did, but we won the game by 2 penalty kicks. It wasn't by excellent individual play or an excellent team performance. We just won by 2 penalty kicks, and we converted them. He'd have done fantastically well to do that. But I do agree with you. If we keep doing this week in, week out, with no imagination, with no final product, and the players just look like they're going through the motion. There's a few comments here tonight saying players look like they weren't trying, they weren't interested. Where does it stop? It seems to be infesting the support at the minute that we can see this kind of drop off in performance. And look, you get called bedwetters and all that type of stuff, and then you get called a happy clapper if you agree with what's going on, which I don't agree with. People are entitled to their own opinion, and that's fine. But in my opinion, I just think we're miles off it.
Can I just say, I know that if you pay attention to social media, you will see the labelling, the divisions, and Celtic fans, the bedwetters, the happy clappers. Can I just say, and by the way, anybody who's watching this, don't take this to heart, but if you're a Celtic fan and you don't think that there's anything to worry about, then you're a fucking psychopath. You're an absolute psychopath, because you've got no understanding of emotion right now. To go through that roller coaster of a game, and obviously taking into account losing points at Pittodrie, and then us snatching 3 points against Ross County, we are not turning a corner. We are sleepwalking. And I don't pay attention to the other mob. I don't watch their games. All I know is that they're winning. That's all I care about, that they're winning and they're getting closer to us. And I'm looking at us, and we are struggling. Last year, we were a treble winning team, and now we would be lucky to string 3 games together, three victories together. We are really we're really struggling. So if you can't see that coming, then then you're a lucky guy, because you're living in a wee bubble right now. But football is full of highs and lows. Look, see, during that first half, there was a lot of concerns from me. I tried to note a few things down. There was no creativity in the midfield 3. Callum McGregor, Bernardo, and O'Reilly. Spoke about O'Reilly. Don't want to hang the guy right now, but he's struggling just like everybody else. There was like these kind of speculative over-the-top passes where we're trying to kind of bypass the Hibs midfield. By the way, the Hibs pressing as a team, they were really on it. They defended as a team, they attacked as a team. Whenever they smelt blood, they flew forward in a pack. They were really smart, and they were quick to get back. Like, technically, they might not be as good as us, but they didn't make that many mistakes tonight on the ball. They never had any clangers as such. They played really well as a team. They trusted individually their man against our man. And from a coaching perspective, you couldn't fault them at all. The pressing was brilliant. They looked very pacey, and especially their left flank, e.g. our right flank. So we've got Ralston and we've got Kuhn. There's a new chemistry developing there. No understanding at all. They're trying to learn each other's games. But they've got Obita and that guy Yuan, really big, physical, pacey players. And they exposed us 2, 3, 4 times tonight with dangerous balls in from that flank, which wouldn't lead to a goal anyway. And on our left flank, like, you've got Bernabe playing with Maida, again, new chemistry, and Bernardo, who's the kind of left-sided central midfielder, trying to kind of support, make moves, make angles. Again, like, that looked our most potent out of the 2 flanks, but again, the chemistry was off. It was really worrying. And we're talking about Brendan Rodgers. He's maybe a coach. He's maybe better players who have, that's his game. I think Brendan Rodgers is really struggling this season. If he wins this season, it will be the most successful season for him as a Celtic manager, because the chips are looking down, man. The chips are looking down.
Definitely the most challenging season, Jed, and I think to go off what Gavin said there, and even in the comments, like, strains of the doctor, Hibs were good, but we were clearly the better team. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I thought Hibs had, like what Gavin said, decent opportunities in the game, a bit more better quality in the final third decision making. They could have scored a couple more goals, but Joe Hart did make a good save in the second half from, I think it was Maluda, their player they have on loan from Hereford Berlin, a bicycle kick. He saved the point blank range, and he also saved, it was offside anyway, but Martin Boyle shot across from the right hand side that does fizz past the post, so he contributed and he saved us as well today. Do you find it worrying that in the first half at Pittodrie, or against Aberdeen, we were good, and then the second half we just dropped off a cliff and it looked like Aberdeen could take the game? And then the same kind of happened today and tonight at Easter Road. It's like we were comfortable first half, again, not necessarily doing a lot with the ball, but then the second half came and we were just kind of, I don't know, going through the motions, and Hibs were kind of, as Gavin, I totally agree, by the way. If you look at their midfield, Joe Newell, Dylan Levitt, and Moriah Welsh, I think he's on loan from Bournemouth. I think he was at Newport County last season, according to the commentary. He done really well. You look at their front three, their movement, their pressing was fantastic, and it just felt like to me, Celtic were a team of individuals again. We weren't doing things as a unit, and we weren't pressing as a team. Everything was kind of, again, passive. It wasn't with intent. It wasn't with force or speed. And then Hibs kind of gradually grew into the game. And like you said, Jeff, when we conceded that goal, and by the way, I was going to write in my notes, Dylan Levitt was pish because he was misplacing all sorts of passing. and passes, but then he does whipped out a fantastic volley into the bottom right hand corner past Joe Hart. And like you said, we were rocked for like the next 15 minutes.
Yeah. Just to follow on what Gavin was saying, in the first half, what I was getting frustrated about, Hibs always play the ball out of the back, but they're really poor at it. We never pressed on it, because after you press on them, Hibs struggle. They really struggle. And then I know you touched on as well, Gavin. I thought we tried the ball over the top a couple of times, and Maeda and Dia, however you pronounce his name, the first touch let them down, because if they've got a good touch there, you're talking, we'll be saying, what a pass, what a goal. So we were trying to do a wee bit different because they had the high line, but we let the opposition in. The last 2 games we've conceded a goal when the team has a first shot on target. That's the worry. And then obviously their fans are up for it, their team's up for it, and we get into a shell. We get into the shell. Players are in hiding. So they are. Matt O'Reilly was hiding all day. So he was. All day.
Yeah.
And
there's a few.
We need him performing at 80%. They're not expecting 100% every week, but 80%, it makes a difference. And it was, we created our own problems in that game. So we did. And we did have the chances to bury the game in the second half as well. I thought the first couple of minutes in the second half, we look up for it here.
First 15 minutes in the second half, we were good. Apart from that, we just let it fall.
Yeah, we just sat back. And guys, honestly, I think Hibs are poor at the back, and I thought we were going to win 3-0 or something tonight, and we played into their hands, and that is down to the coaching as well. I can see it. Surely Brendan Rodgers can see that. I mean, I've tried to stick up for him, saying they were trying to go down another wing in the first half. Why didn't we make the change straight away in the second half? For the second half, at half time, bring Palmer on. Why did they not? Or Abada? But in saying that, Abada was terrible when he came on. They free kicks they were giving away. That was heart and mouth stuff. So it was, but we were giving away silly free kicks. So we were.
Yeah.
But hey, ho boys, we've got 3 points.
Oh no! Again, look, reiterating, Gavin, we did win, and we're still top of the league. But again, in the comments as well, they're agreeing with Dead. Michael Ross comes in and agrees. Who's the Sets agrees, and I've seen a comment as well. Is Rodgers not giving these players any confidence? Because if you go back to the first time and look again, not to kind of go back over old ground here, but the players who were playing under him had a vibrance about them and enthusiasm. A way they played, and yeah, towards the end it got a bit stale on that, which is fair enough because you're there nearly 3 years and things do kind of fizzle out. But I mean, you look back on that, Scott Brown had his best years of Celtic under him. James Forrest was revitalised, and players that he brought in, Armstrong as well was fantastic. He obviously Ronnie Delia had him, but he brought him on to another level. And I look at this team, and yeah, Matt O'Reilly's doing it 100%. He has reached that other level because his path anyway is going to take him to bigger league and bigger money than what we can offer him at the moment. Hopefully, further down the line. But you have to look at this in isolation as well. Like Rodgers clearly wants to manage Celtic. Yeah, I think we can agree with that. He wants to be there, and he wants the best for the club. Yeah, I have to agree on that one. But what I'm seeing on the pitch isn't translating to that. It isn't translating onto the players. And I know that comment he said during the week, I think it was took out of context about him basically saying, don't pay much attention to what the noise of the support's making around the board and things like that. People are jumping on that and putting more pressure on him, saying he doesn't care about the fans, which I don't think is necessarily true. I'm just seeing a different Rodgers this time. Far different than what we've seen the first time. He even seems bereft of confidence. He doesn't have that swagger, the arrogance, and the whole Gucci belt thing. But that was Rodgers back then. That was his personality. And he just seems to have a personality transplant, and he's not being himself or being true to what he is as a manager, in my opinion.
It's been a very, very strange season. Rodgers made one comment, which we could probably all agree upon, is that teams need to be refreshed every 3 or so years. And yeah, you can understand that. And look, Alex Ferguson was a master of that, and another cliche, a winning team, you strengthen from a position of strength. That's one of the reasons the Rotten Mob, failed to capitalise on their last league success. We know better than that. As fans, we know better than that. However, the board are seemingly, by evidence, not showing that kind of cognitive behaviour. So Rodgers takes over a treble-winning team. So we know that we need to refresh things. We get rid of a couple of really good performers, Starfelt, Jota, Moy to an extent, but we haven't replaced proper quality like for like. Moy was a good player. We haven't replaced quality for quality like for like in that regard. And we are where we are right now. The other kind of mystifying thing in this season is again, we're all divided as Celtic fans, which is a good thing, because if we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, if we're all have the same opinion, it's an echo chamber. So the comments from the people who are viewing and from us ourselves, we need that diversity. We need a bit of friction. That's good. But one thing that I've noticed is I see Celtic beating Rangers twice this season, and I'm like, it's under difficult circumstances, especially the game at Ibrox when the chips were down, like Cameron Carter-Vickers was out and we're playing Lagerbielke and Scales. People were thinking, oh my God, look, we are really not going to be favourites to even get a draw. And we managed to get the 3 points. Kyogo saved our bacon that day. Well, he got the goal, but the team they kept their cool. They trusted the process. And in those types of games, those magical 3 points, the magical 3 points at Ibrox, when we beat them 2-1 at Celtic Park, I'm thinking that's Rodgers showing his true mettle, guiding our team through these choppy waters. But then we're throwing away points against teams who are really, really at their lowest point. Like St Johnstone were really, really bad at one point. Aberdeen very recently were really bad at one point because they had to sack the manager. But yeah, we're dropping points. I don't know what to make of Rodgers' performance. I don't know what the plan is. There's a massive contrast between now and Ange. Ange at the start of his tenure, when the opening 6-7 games, we lost three games.
Three games, yeah.
But although you had the proverbial mob shouting for their pound of flesh, some people were saying, no, you see the process. There's a method to the madness here. Trust the process. So the Tottenham fans that have watched that as well this season, trust the method, because you saw that there is no method right now with Brendan Rodgers this season. I think he's living on reputation. I think he's living on credit in the bank. I'm not calling for his pound of flesh right now, but I don't know what the process is. I don't know what the method is. That's a key difference.
I've been thinking about this for a few weeks now. We normally go away at the winter break, we team building. We've not done that. What did they actually do? They normally go away and we come back stronger. We've not done that this season. Why not? It's not as if we can't afford to hire a plane and go to Dubai or wherever it was. We could go. I don't know, the guys just need a wee blowout, a wee team building night. Because, by the way, they do work.
I think as well, like, people may look at that and think that's a small, minute thing, but team building's a lot to do with how you get on and function as a team and a collective. I mean, at the end of the day, and I said it earlier in the podcast, the team at the moment look a team of individuals. Yeah, you have, for example, your core, Cal McGregor, you've got Welsh and that, you've got Joe Hart and people of that ilk, but the rest of them just seem to be just dotted around. Do you know what I mean? I remember listening to an interview Cal McGregor done. He was speaking about the Japanese lads and the Korean lads are on one side of the dressing room and the other fellas on the other side. I don't quite like that dynamic, but look, that's probably a different one for a different podcast. Yeah, but I do get what you're saying. And William comes in, need Brownie and Lenny to take them for a pint by the pool. one, obviously, we're not going to be on for a large amount of time here, obviously post-match reaction and stuff. We've got a lot to look forward to on Friday, a couple of beers and that. But Gavin, a couple of positives before we end. And I think the criticism the criticism the fella gets, and look, you may totally disagree with me, that's fine. It's my positive, and Franny alluded to it in the comments. I thought Burnaby was actually all right tonight.
Yeah.
I thought for me, he showed a lot of fight, a lot of desire to get up and down the pitch. And yeah, his defensive qualities are always up for debate. But to tell you what, he was getting his foot stuck in. He broke up a couple of Hibs counter attacks. He took a yellow card for it. And he himself fizzed a couple of balls into the box that should have been converted into goals. That's for me a positive for tonight. I thought Burnaby played decent. Wouldn't say amazingly well, but decent.
Yeah, I agree with that. I said that at the start of the podcast. Burnaby never had his worst game for us. If we lost tonight, then he would not have been the scapegoat. I've said it before, his defending at times is like a dog chasing a crisp packet in the wind. However, tonight he wasn't a liability tonight. His chemistry with Maida is not quite there. But he tried. He really, really tried tonight. He realizes that he's made this big money move to Scotland. It's not quite worked out the way that he imagined, but he realizes right now that Taylor is out for a period of time. This is his opportunity just to make himself proud, just to kind of justify the move, whether it means, putting himself in the spotlight for a move elsewhere. But he can't do. What's he got to lose? That's the point. I thought he did. I thought he did okay tonight. I thought he did okay. So again, my point was, if we lost tonight, he would not have been the scapegoat. It would have been a collective. So he did all right, right?
And then, Jed, what about Ida? And I think for me, anyway, he scored the 2 penalty kicks, but he could have had a hat-trick. I thought he had a couple of decent opportunities maybe to increase his tally. There was one in the first half where the ball was cut in, and he just kind of tipped it at Marshall. He maybe could have threw it over him. And then there was one in the second half, good movement. I think it was O'Reilly maybe played him in the left-hand side. He kind of backed off the defender, and again, he probably could have lofted it over Marshall. But he showed signs for me that a decent touch. He was physical. He was winning headers in the box. And at the end of the day, Jed, we got a penalty kick taker who can score penalties.
Exactly. And again, I said earlier on, I'm trying to take the positive from the game. I did feel as though Ida wasn't hiding. He was always looking for the ball. So he was, and the 2 penalties was fantastic. A bit of calm, mine is only 21, 22, but it's just, thank God. Let's be honest. If Power were taking 8 penalties, would we have been confident? No, not a whole meal. So
do you think it was justified to drop Kyogo then? Do you think Rodgers made the right call in that instance?
Well, guys, I put in their chat earlier today. I would have put Kyogo and him up front together, But it wasn't a surprise to me that he played him, because Kyogo's been out of sorts a wee bit, but that's only because he's not getting the ball through like he's used to last season. But look, Rodgers can take that away tonight and say, well, I played him from the start, so he can justify that. So
100%. 100%. Gavin, do you have anything to say on that one?
I've got plenty to say, man.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
Perhaps not on that particular point, but can we recognise how deficient we were in terms of squad defensiveness? After Hibs scored their second goal, there was 3 gilt-edged chances that they had. On the 62nd minute, they almost score again with that point blank save that Hart has to make with the overhead kick right in the box. Now, people say that you're most vulnerable after you score a goal, but it was like the opposite. Hibs score a goal, and then a minute later, they almost score again. They almost get the winner. And it was Mile Leader with the overhead kick. How did he get that chance? Hart saves us again. And then in the 80th minute, the Hibs chance, Newell, that cross from the left, it takes out our entire defence. A brilliant cross. Takes out the entire defence, and it's their defender, that guy Miller, slides in at the back post, and he contrives to put it wide. difficult to do. But again, another gilt-edged chance. It would have been easier to score. And then in the 84th minute, fucking fish. You've got 3 Hibs players. We're all like, you take it, you take it, you take it. 3 Hibs players on the edge of the box, all getting in each other's way. And then the defender, Fish, takes a shot and it goes narrowly wide. 3 brilliant chances. How many gilt-edged chances did we have in that game apart from the 2 penalty kicks? That is terrible. Now, we're talking about our wingers not being good enough, our Hugo not getting the service, so we take Hugo, put in Ida. We're talking about our offence, but where are we as a team collectively defending, nullifying the chances? Like under Ange, our defence was brilliant defensively. Now we are one of the highest. I watched that podcast, Celtic by Numbers, and they said that Celtic, out of all the teams in the league, we are one of the most prone to giving away chances, giving away shots. That's ridiculous. I know that we've had injuries with changing centre backs, changing partnerships, but Rodgers needs to be doing better than that. That the buck stops with him. We've got a title to win. Like, we're in a dogfight and we're not showing much dog. We won the game.
Defending starts at the front. We're closing them down. We're not doing that like we did last season.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. So as you say, as a collective, and we are really missing Carter Vickers at the back. Really missing him.
And I think as well, one. Go ahead, Jed, sorry.
No, Carter Vickers is Mr. Steady.
Yeah.
So he is. And you do miss him. Really do miss him. And then it's only unfortunate before we get into the Taylor was coming back on a wee bit of the game, where in the first quarter of the season he was terrible. And Alistair Johnston wasn't his usual best. So we just haven't been, the players haven't been performing to their normal levels what they were doing last season. And it's not just 1 or 2 players, it's 5 or 6 players. And that's what's killing us.
I think as well, you have to look at it too. If you're coming from that side of things, we always say a bit of balance, isn't it? We lost Johnson very early on in the game, had to bring on Ralston. I thought Eliuhan had him on toast anytime he faced him up and took him on. Maybe under Johnson would have been different, would have been a better battle in that front. I thought Burnaby did all right. And like what you said, Gavin, that one in particular with the 3 Hibs players at the edge of the box, see if they had better decision making, they could have got a shot away quick. They all panicked and huddled around the ball, and Fish was just like, I'll take this, and again put it just narrowly wide. But one more player just quickly to wrap up on. Gav, Leo Abada come off the bench. And look, he is a guy at the minute that is split in opinion, and it's for one thing or another. It's for what's going on overseas and things like that, which is fair enough. You spoke to me about O'Reilly maybe having the thoughts about Atletico. Abada looks like a man to me who just wants away from Celtic Football Club. He just came onto the pitch. He was so, I don't know, he might as well have been 10 men. He gave away silly fouls. He wasn't really doing much with the ball. Even in the celebration, I think he doesn't over and hugged one and walked away again while they're all still celebrating. He just looks a man who wants out. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but it's just what I'm seeing at the minute. And again, it's the whole thing that's kicked off since he's been injured and come back into the club.
I used to contrast Jota to Abada in terms of their personalities. And Jota, I said very early on in this podcast that Jota was an extrovert. And I think Abada doesn't embody that personality. Abada, I think he does well whenever the team is playing well. Such as whenever he managed to get goals against Rangers. Whenever we were attacking fluidly, whenever there was a game plan where you knew who your fullback was, you knew what was going to happen, you knew the positions to attack. Now it's different. Abada has he's had that. Obviously, we know what's happened personally. I'll put that to the side. I don't need to talk about that. But on the field, he's been injured for 4 odd months. Really difficult, and even more so because we hoped that he would be the guy to step up to kind of take ownership of creativity after Jota left. but it's not worked out that way. Now that he's came back after an injury, he's been put on, and he's been very, very poor. His decision making again has been highlighted, and tonight it's been again really, really bad. So there was a counter attack near the end of the game. So we've already got the lead. We're 2-1 up. There's like 2 minutes to go in stoppage time, and I think it was like maybe 3 against 2 or 2 against 1, and Abada could have chose a teammate who was on his left flank. He's got a centre back ahead of him. He's like, what do? Do you run against the centre back? Do you cut across him? Because there's another guy, other flank, or do you play the safe pass to your left winger and just play the ball into the corner flag? When you've got 2 minutes to go after such a topsy-turvy basketball game, play into the corner flag. Stall for time. Calm it down. Abada cuts it across his centre back, and he gets the ball dispossessed, and you're like, fuck, that's Abada all over again. And then a minute later, he does the same thing again. He's going down the right flank this time. He's got a full back in front of him. What does he do? He checks. Okay, that's fine. You check. You play it back to your full back. He tries to make the pass. He kicks out of play. Decision making. We are bringing these guys on. That look, I know that he's a young man, but we spent what, 3 odd million for him. He's a professional footballer. Do the basics right. Do the basics right. Like, we've got a perfect example for him to look up to his skills right now. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. He's not, the most technically proficient, but he does the basics right. And that's why he's earning a new contract. That's why he's earning a reprieve at Celtic Park right now, because he does the basics right, and he's not being the fall guy. Out of all the chaos around him, he is not being the fall guy. Abada, for all his talents, for all his pace, for all his money, he's doing the opposite right now. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but that's the frustration. He's got pace to burn, but he doesn't do the basics right. When we needed him, he failed us, and that's why his future at Celtic should be up for debate. It should be up for debate. He's not, if you're in the trenches, again, I make the comparison with Jota. I'm sorry for hogging the microphone here, but we make the comparison with Jota. Jota was your man. Give him the ball, he would do the thing. He's away now. Abada cannot be that man. If you're in the trenches, when you're up against it, when your teammates are not performing well, will Abada step up? No, he's not that type of guy. He needs other people to step up for him to feel comfortable. And that's just how his personality is. That's just how it is. And maybe he's not got the mentality to be a Celtic fan, to be a Celtic player, sorry.
Yeah, William comes in. I feel like I'm Gavin's therapy session tonight. Love that you're getting it off your chest, mate. But yeah, rounding up, you mentioned players hiding. I thought Abada was the king of hide and seek, and like Gavin said, so many questionable choices for passing, so many easy options. He took the hard one and put the team under the cosh really in the 10 minutes of that game. And it was, I mean, as fans, we went through the roller coaster of emotions, as Willie always says. With that team, we come out of it with 3 points, but I just think Abada was just one of them people who maybe need to have a hard look at himself.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone is, we were all shouting on the TV. I think what's hard to take with Abada is because we know there's a bloody good player in there, and yeah, we spoke about it on the podcast before, where we don't know how he is personally, what's going on back on in his homeland. His head could be all over the place. Or it's maybe not. He's maybe just lacking confidence as well. We don't know. But that was getting to me because he's a super talent when he's on his game. But tonight he certainly wasn't on his game. And as Gavin mentioned earlier as well, when he was running in, I was screaming for him to play it left. And he didn't. He cut in and he lost the ball and then made away. It is just stupidity. It was naive. Now, devil's advocate was maybe thinking, well, I can score a wonder goal here. I don't know. I really don't know. But when you're defending a 1-goal lead in injury time, just clear your lines, keep possession, take it down to the corner flag, kill a bit of time. And we weren't doing that.
Manage the game. The game well. Be professional at the end of the game. But look, the battle's on. We'll have 3 points, and yes, there's going to be a title fight. One that we haven't seen for quite a while. But look, we got the win. We got 2 penalty kicks. We scored them, lads. It's the end of the Endless Celts Cooldown. Have you enjoyed the first edition of it? Well, enjoyed it as much as you can.
Cooldown.
Cooldown, yes.
Cooldown. Man, we're all going off. I thought I'm going to be very quiet tonight and just. I was just listening to Gavin. Let him. He could go off in one. I was trying
Never
to
quit.
Trying to keep.
Never.
But yeah, I think we'll all be sleeping tonight and we'll wake up. Everyone else thinking, "Oh my God, what's happening? What's happening?"
Yeah, 100%. Gavin, yourself, mate.
May I just say, I know that obviously when you're on a podcast and whenever you win a game of football and you appear negative, which I have obviously done, you leave yourself open to criticism. I would kind of caveat that and say that on the whole, our podcast with the members that we've got, a lot of them are really, really positive. And that they were saying, we said before the game that the 3 points were all that mattered, and we got the 3 points. I totally agree. So I am probably in the minority, so don't blame the podcast for my negativity. All I would say is that I would rather obviously get the points and play poorly as opposed to play well and not get any points. But you would rather go through that difficult period at the start of the season when you're forcing through new ideas. My worry is that we're in the business end of the season and we're not showing any fluidity. We almost snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. We were a ball hair away from it. That's my worry. But although I am maybe negative tonight, there's not
You're not being negative, Gavin. You're being constructive and you've backed up your beliefs. So you haven't been. You've backed it up with some very good points. We're all not happy. What's going on at the moment?
Exactly.
And the buck stops with Rodgers, so he better get his finger. He better get the team. That's why he's getting 60 grand a week. So get it sorted out. We've got a big game coming up at the weekend, and it won't be easy. So you better get on that training ground and get it sorted out.
Yep.
Jed, would you start Kyoko or Ida as centre forward for the next game?
I think Ida's got to get the chance because he scored 2 goals tonight.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, look, as you said, get the finger out. The battle's on. We need to keep winning. Focus on what we can do as a club and what we can control, and that's the outcomes of our upcoming games. We'll be back Friday as a podcast again at 8:30. To everyone who watched along for the Endless Celts Cooldown, stay well and keep safe. Hail, hail.